Pursuing YouTube has been something I've been enjoying a lot lately, and I'll be the first to admit I've been obsessing and observing my numbers more than I should. So to take my mind off those things, I decided to buy Red Dead Redemption 2. And my plan was to not worry about making a video on it. Red Dead is my place to de-stress from work, and overall it was supposed to be my game to pour hours into and just have fun. But all that aside, and the fact that I'm 2 years late to the jump is not enough for me to skip over this game, and so I'm finally making a video about it. How's it going, YouTube? I go by Lumberjack on the internet, and today we're focusing on the mechanics of Red Dead and how Rockstar made the perfect game. I'm not done with the story, and sadly it has been spoiled for me, so knowing how much that sucks, all I want to talk about today is how Rockstar has made this masterpiece of a game without even needing a story to it. Not trying to discredit the story at all, it's absolutely amazing, but the easiest way to not spoil it for anyone is to not talk about it at all. And I know the game is 2 years old, but I just bought the game a month back, and I'm positive there's others out there who need to play this game and just don't know it yet.
Possibly you!
In case somehow you don't know, Red Dead Redemption 2 is an open world, do whatever your heart desires type game that takes place in the Wild Wild West. The story weaves around the timeline of the first Red Dead Redemption, and that's about as in-depth as I'm willing to go in terms of the story. And if you're easily swayed, this is an absolutely amazing game, and if you got the coin, you should 100% buy this game. Now, before I get too far into this video, the reason this game is so good is because of its attention to detail, and I'm not going to copy the trend of showing off details on YouTube, so at the top of the description I'll include a playlist of the YouTuber Knights, because he has managed to find 142 unique things that Rockstar has packed into this game. But I'm mostly here to talk about the more mechanical side to their attention to detail. And to start, I'm going to talk about the horses. Sure, in modern games, it's not entirely bewildering to have a companion such as a horse with a separate leveling system, but it is a nice feature, and it's cool to have to build your trust with the horse and ultimately build its stamina and health. And this is where Rockstar nailed it on the head, because it goes so much further than just ride the horse till it's good. In the game, your horses will get dirty as you ride them, and you have to maintain them and brush them, or their fur gets matted and it will start damaging the horse. Just like the real world, which personally I love, because I really love animals, and it's cool to have this game punish you if you neglect them. You also have to keep their health cores up by feeding them, and alongside that, brushing, feeding, petting, and calming it all comes together to build the bond with the horse to level it up. But like I said, these types of mechanics aren't quite groundbreaking anymore, as modern titles continue to push this bar further and further. And of course, Rockstar, with their longer term AAA development, decided to go miles further and implement different classes of horses, and the most shocking part, different temperaments and attitudes on these horses. Yeah. Red Dead Redemption's transportation system almost entirely revolves around the horses, and so of course there's going to be tons of different breeds, and because not all breeds are created equal, we're given classes of horses. The classes are Riding, which across the board is fairly low in stats, War, with higher health and stamina at a cost of speed and acceleration, Work, which of course is good for stamina and weak in health and speed. There's Draft, which is average across the board. Race, which is great in terms of speed, but at a cost of health and stamina. And lastly, there's Superior, which is just a dominating horse and high stats throughout. So overall, you're going to want to get the most elite horse you can, so you jump to taming a superior one. But this actually comes with its drawbacks. I'm going to go ahead and use my experience as an example. In Red Dead, I have two female horses. One's a racehorse and the other one is a superior, and they are both fully bonded and maxed out as best as I can get them, and they both have the best saddle and stirrups. This is Lola, my white Arabian horse. She's both incredibly fast and has a lot of stamina because she's a superior class horse. If I run her into a fence, she won't hesitate to jump, but if I get into a gunfight, she will run miles away, and whistling for her doesn't always grab her attention. If something spooks her, she won't hesitate to buck me off and leave me to deal with whatever freaked her out, and if I manage to catch it fast enough and she doesn't buck me off, she will make my life hell for the next minute as I try to calm her down. And she's named after a pony my girlfriend used to train who looks and acts the same. Now let's meet Chico. She is a thoroughbred I obtained early in the game, and she is classed as a racehorse. So she is fast at the cost of health and stamina, but she still has a fair amount of each. And if I run her into a fence, I never really know what I'm gonna get as a result, but she still is my favorite. If I get into a gunfight, she runs for safety but not too far. She comes to me when I whistle, and I've never been bucked off her. And I've had her for at least 10 times longer than I've had my other horse. For practicality's sake, I do use Lola more because she's faster and can run nearly endlessly, but sometimes I just want to sell her. And that's why I think Rockstar crushed horse mechanics, because even though one is clearly better than the other, it's hard to make the switch because they all have their imperfections. And before I get off the topic of horses, if you're hanging around a horse that doesn't trust you, keep a close eye on their ears, because just like the real world, if those ears are perked backwards, it might be too late. And if that wasn't enough to bring realism into the game, how about the NPC's memory? In-game characters will decide if they like you or they hate you.
Howdy.
Bastard.
In the game, you have a meter that tells you whether you're a good or a bad person, but this doesn't entirely affect who you are in the eyes of the NPC. You can do a lot of murdering and stealing behind people's back, and they won't treat you different, but if you defend yourself in a fight in front of someone, they will insist that you're another troublemaker. But this isn't game over, because all the NPCs think individually, so if you cause trouble in a town, there's still going to be some people who are nice to you just because they weren't there to see it. And this goes the other way too. If you stumble upon a guy being robbed and you come in to save him, don't be annoyed if he doesn't reward you there, because more often than not, you'll bump into him later on and he will remember you as a hero. And I'm not even talking about missions in the game, this is solely just free roaming features. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below, and I'll see you in the next video. This is Lumberjack logging off. Thank you. 400 subscribers.